it's Lori Glory here, coming to you live from the laundromat tonight. We had tons of laundry to do, and so in the other video, I hope you catch it, Papa Jake did the devotional on Psalms. There's 90 devotionals in this little book, and he was on day 3, so catch his video. And for us, we're on day 4 in our book, which again, for those of you that haven't been following my channel, 31 Days Towards Trusting God by Jerry Bridges. And we're on day 4. So as you know, I've got to put my little eyeballs on here. His wise and loving plan for me. In him we have obtained an inheritance, having been predestined according to the purpose of him who works all things according to the counsel of his will. Ephesians 1:11. The bare thought that God only does as he pleases. Is that okay? So I just saw somebody that I know. So as he pleases would terrify us if that were all we knew about God. But he is not only sovereign, he is also perfect in love and infinite in wisdom. God always exercises his sovereignty for his glory and the good of his people. But how is this any more than merely an abstract statement about God to be debated by the theologist? A statement that has little reverence to our day-to-day lives. The answer is that God does have a purpose and a plan for you, and he has the power to carry out that plan. It's one thing to know that one person or circumstance can touch us outside of God's sovereign control. It's still another to realize that no person or circumstance can frustrate God's purpose for our lives. God's overarching purpose for all believers is to confirm us to the likeness of Jesus. Those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, and that's Romans 8:29. He also has a specific purpose for each of us that is his unique, tailor-made plan for our individual life. We are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. That's Ephesians 2:10. God will fulfill that personal plan for us. As David said in Psalms 138:8, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Because we know God is directing our lives to an ultimate end, and because we know he is sovereignly able to orchestrate the events of our lives towards that end, we can trust him. We can commit to him not only the ultimate outcomes of our lives, but also all the intermediate events and circumstances that will bring us to this outcome. Still, it's difficult for us to fully appreciate the reality of God's sovereignty, doing as he pleases in our lives, because we don't see him doing anything. Instead, we see ourselves or other people acting and events occurring, and we evaluate those actions and events according to our own preferences and plans. We see ourselves influencing or perhaps even controlling or being controlled by the actions of other people, but we don't see God at work. Excuse me. But overall, the actions and events of our lives, God is in control, doing as he pleases, not apart from those events or in spite of them, but through them. Joseph's brother sold him into slavery, a malicious act in of itself. And in due time, Joseph recognized that through his brother's actions, God was acting. Joseph could say to them, "It was not you who sent me here, but God." Genesis 45:8. Joseph recognized the hand of God in his life, sovereignly directing all the events to bring about his plan for him. You and I may never have the privilege in this life of seeing an obvious outcome of God's plan for us, as Joseph did, but God's plan for us is no less firm, and its outcome no less certain than was God's plan for Joseph. God did not give us the story of Joseph's life just to inform us, but also to encourage us. Whatever was written in former days was written for our instruction, that through endurance and through the encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. Romans 15:4. What God did for Joseph, he will do for us. But to derive the comfort and encouragement from the truth God has provided, we must learn to trust him. We must learn to walk, as Paul said, by faith and not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. And so we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. 4:18. So just trust God. I'm learning to do that at 46 years old, and it's challenging to do because we don't see him. He's not right here with us to sit and, fellowship with, but trust him. Trust that his will for your life will be done, and trust that he'll do the right thing for you. God bless you guys. I love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.